Hey, Tony here. So today I got in this big Calbee mail day. I got a bunch of 70s and 80s Calbees in from one seller. So I thought I would just go through this mail day with you guys and take a close look at these cards. So let's get into it. I'm going to start with the 70s cards, and I'll just start with the one that I'm most excited about. I mean, I'm excited about all of them, but I'm particularly excited about this one, and that is the 1974 Calbee number 480. And this is from the Famous Scenes series of the 74 set. Well, actually, more technically, 74-75 set. And this depicts, you might recognize them, although they're very young. This is Sadaharu O on the right, lighting a smoke for his senpai Shigeo Nagashima on the left there. And this photo is from 1959, which is, of course, Sadaharu O's rookie year and Nagashima's second year. This card is definitely one of the more well-known and sought-after Calbees. It's not particularly scarce, but it is sought after and it is pricey. This is definitely, it's definitely the second most I've ever paid for a Calbee after the 73 number one. So, um, but man, just great card. This one comes from as I said, the Famous Scene series. They did all of these in like a sepia tone. And actually, the priciest, most sought after card from this series is the one that is the photo of Nagashima hitting the walk-off home run to win it for the Giants at the Emperor game, or the game with the Emperor in attendance, as it's known. And that one is not so expensive. I was pretty shocked, but this one, man, this is one of my favorite cards that I have in my collection now. I just absolutely love this thing. Don't smoke, kids. Smoking's bad. So then let's do some 73s. So I got this 73 of Koji Yamamoto. Koji Yamamoto is, I guess you could call him like Mr. Carp. The greatest player in Hiroshima Carp history. This is card 101. It's a flag back, but of course it only comes in flag back. Starting with card number 92, the bat backs stopped and they only started coming in the flag backs. Koji Yamamoto was a great player. He's really underrated, I think. He's fourth all time in home runs in MPB with 536, I think. All around super underrated player, I think. Just check out his Wikipedia page or whatever. Learn more about him, Koji Yamamoto. Um, and then I got this awesome 73. So 73 Calby, you might know I'm collecting the bat backs, the first 91 cards in the bat back, and I only need one more card for my run. But it's a scarce one, so I'm still waiting to finish it with one more card. But I do collect, 73s regardless. This one is of Ikeda for the Tigers. Man, look at this card. That is awesome. And his given name is actually escaping me. And I also can't read his given name offhand. But Ikeda played for the Tigers. This is 118. Awesome, awesome card with the Koshien Stadium in the back there. Got another one of Mr. Giants himself. Pretty nice. And I have this nice one of Shozo Doi. for the Giants, one of the, core members of the Giants V9 dynasty where they won 9 consecutive championships. Um, so some of these and the flagbacks for 73 Cali, they just have basic stats on the back, like personal stats, generally not like baseball stats. Um, So I got a couple 74s as well. This one, besides the 74 number 480 with O Nagashima on it, this is probably the one that I'm the second most excited about. Really nice card. Check this out. So this is a 74 Calby, number 64 of Harimoto. And you know that Harimoto is the all-time hits leader in Japan. And this one depicts him in a fighter's uniform because he was still uh, playing for the Fighters at that time. And it's kind of rare for him to have cards in a fighter's uniform. So I really like this one because he moved to the Giants in 75. And then most of his Calbies and most of his cards depict him in a Giants uniform. Although, Harimoto did not play for the Giants for most of his career. He played for the Fighters for most of his career. And the Fighters are now based in Hokkaido, but they used to be in Tokyo back when he played for them. And suffice it to say, they were another also ran Tokyo team back in that day. Of course, the Giants were everything in those days. So this is an awesome card. Got this other 74 Calby. Real nice image with some Chunichi Dragons players. And this is another 74. Basically, I'm also collecting Series 1 of 74 Calby. So that's the first, I want to say, 72 cards in the set. And you can tell the Series 1 cards because they have this little 1974 pennant race down here. And these are great cards. I just really like the images on these. I decided to collect these two after, sort of almost being done with my 73 Batback run, because I think aesthetically they're very similar to the classic inaugural set. After 74 Series 1, basically Calby moved away from using primarily posed photography and just went to mainly action shots or candid shots. And I mean, I like action shots and stuff like that, but the posed photography on the 73s and the Series 1 74s are just really nice. They really give these cards a kind of distinct feel from what came after them. So that's it for the 74s. Let's go into the 80s. There's a lot more of these. I probably won't get super, into talking about all these players and stuff. To be honest, some of them I might not even know a lot about offhand. I've got a little stack here. So let's start it off with a real nice one. This is from 1984 Calby. And this is, again, Koji Yamamoto. I was talking about him earlier. Super underrated player. And this one is pretty scarce. You can see it says, 84 All-Star special series or special collection up there. And these were short printed. This one's just a real nice copy. Flawless. And I really like the design on these. One of the few Calbys where they didn't have just a complete full bleed image. They kind of had this 81 tops, seemingly 81 tops inspired, hat down there. Although not all the cards in the set have this green bar with the hat. Some of them are just, full bleed, but so this one, badass card. I also got these two, and I'll explain. So these two, I got this awesome one of Masami Kawata, pitcher for the Giants. And then I also got this one of Yutaka Fukumoto for the Hankyu Braves. Fukumoto, of course, is the all-time stolen base leader in Japanese baseball, though this card is commemorating him getting 2,000 hits. So these cards with the gold borders, these are like the 80s title holder cards, or these cards basically commemorate player records and awards. So for Kawata here, this one is commemorating him being the ERA leader. And then, as I said earlier, the Fukumoto is for him getting 2,000 hits. Now, I kind of have to explain a little bit about these. These are from different years. The Kawata is from 87, and dang it, I don't remember precisely what year the Fukumoto is from. 84, 85 maybe? But when it comes to these gold bordered cards, for whatever reason, in 1987, the gold bordered title holder cards were just regular cards, regularly printed, the same as any other card. And that's only in 87. In the other years in the 80s that they appear, like this one, they were actually short printed. So this Fukumoto card is quite scarce. Whereas this Kawata is far less scarce. Now, of course, these things are relative. Neither of these cards are, super plentiful or anything like that. It's all relative. But this one, any 87 is just like a normal 87 Calby printed in the same quantity. Whereas any other year with the gold border 80s were short printed and pretty scarce. So if you see one of these 80s gold border cards, there's like a 99% chance it's going to be an 87. If you turn the card around, or if you look at the image of the back of the card on the listing, I want to say a 99% chance it's going to be an 87. So that is that. Got a 1982 Sadaharu O. Now, of course, at this point, O was retired as a player. This depicts him as the assistant manager for the Giants in 82. Pretty nice clean back as well. So then I got some cards from 81. I got a stack of cards from 81. So I'll go through these now, and then I'll talk a little bit about 81. So here's 81 of Hiromu Matsuoka for the Swallows. And then this is what the back looks like. This is number 46, but I'll get to this because the 81 Calby set actually has two different backs. These Calby sets are never straightforward. They always have different backs, or, so much stuff going on. So that's what I'll put that off to the side, but we'll just look at some other ones. There's too many of them. So I won't, go through all of these and talk about the players and stuff. Unfortunately, I'll, don't want to take forever doing this. but do enjoy the images. If there's a particularly notable player, I'll bring it up. Another 81, 81 for the Buffaloes. Mitsuyasu Hirano. And then this is 28. Kenichi Yazawa, pretty prominent former player for the Dragons. So, like I said, the 81 cards actually have two different backs. So I'll show this one prominent player here. This is Hiromitsu Kadota, and he is third all time in home runs in Japanese baseball, behind only Sadaharu O and his teammate Katsuya Nomura for the Hawks. But so if you look at the back here, you can see this different back that's in blue with a team logo instead of a pennant. And then you can compare that to this other back that's pink, number 46. So in the 81 set, the first, and I don't know or recall exactly how many cards are in the 81 set, hundreds. So there's hundreds of cards in this set. But the first 50 cards had the pink backs with the pennants. And then the rest of the cards in the set came in these blue backs. So I'm actually decided to try to collect all of the A50 81 pink backs. So the first 50 cards in the set I've kind of decided to try to collect. Basically, that's how I do Calby, or that's how I found myself doing it. Basically, 70s and 80s Calby sets are incredibly difficult to complete. Like, pretty much all of them are very, very difficult to complete. Just the number of cards, combined with how little a lot of the cards are available after all these decades, to a lot of the sets just having these incredibly tough short printed and regional issue cards and stuff that are part of the base set. They're not special in any way. They're just considered part of the set. So, most of these sets are very, very difficult, if not functionally impossible to complete. So what I found myself doing is that I kind of pick and choose different things. That's been my pattern. So I say, okay, I'm gonna collect the first 50 81 Calbys with the pink backs, right? Or I'm gonna collect, the 73 Calby set has 360 something cards, but and dozens of them are these brutally difficult to obtain short printed cards, and you're never going to complete the entire 73 Calby set. So I'm just going to do the 91 back cards, right? The first 91 cards that come in two different backs, I'm just going to do the backs, right? So it's always sort of like bits and pieces of these sets. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of how, it's kind of how you do it. Or, 74, I'm collecting Series 1, the Pennant Race series from 74, right? No way I'm ever gonna, get the entire 74, 75 Calby set, which has about 900 something cards in it. So, awesome picture, by the way, of Hiromu Matsuoka here. Man, check this card out. That is awesome. And then I've got this one. So then, finally, I've got some 1980 Calbys. Now, 1980 Calby, so I've got some of the cards here. A few. 1980 Calby is definitely, far and away, like card for card, 1980 Calby of any vintage Calby set, so any set from the 70s and 80s. Card for card, these are the hardest to obtain by quite a bit. 80 Calby, for whatever reason, is just a very scarce set across the board. None of these are easy to get. By the way, this is Koichi Tabuchi for the Lions, although he is previously of the Tigers. He's a Hall of Famer, Hall of Fame catcher, 400 something home runs. So 1980 Calby, as I said, for whatever reason, these are just real damn tough. Another nice one of Matsuoka. This one is 1980. And for this set, I'm actually collecting the large, the 1980 Calby large. So the interesting thing about 80 Calby is 1980 is the year that Calby transitioned from cards of this size. So this is like the standard 70s size to cards of this size, right? This smaller size. But in 1980, the first two series come in the larger 70 size. So they started printing the 80 set in the larger size, and then at some point in series 2, they were just like, meh, you know what? We're going to go to this smaller size. And I assume that this shift was probably to save cost, to save on costs. I can only assume. The set is across the board is scarce to begin with, and I don't know if Calby was like, these things are just not, selling like they were in the 70s heyday with, Oa Nagashima, and now, O's a middle-aged man and he was in his last year as a player and things like that. So I'm not really sure, but I assume it was a cost-cutting measure and the set itself was scarcer just because maybe there was a comparative lack of interest compared to like the mid 70s. But anyway, so the Series 2, because they decided to change the size of the cards, you can get Series 2 in big and small size. Series 1 only comes in large size. Series 2 comes in large and small size. And then from Series 3 on, the cards all come in small size like this. So all of these cards I'm showing you right now are from Series 3 or later because these come only in small size. But I'm also trying to collect all the large size ones, and I probably will never complete it because particularly the Series 2 large size cards are incredibly rare. And it's just really, really, you just cannot find these things. I check almost daily, and the well's always dry. But you can find, random 1980 cards. You can usually find 80 cards, but they're scarce enough that, you're not necessarily going to find the exact card that you're looking for, and things like that. And then another one of Kenichi Izawa, gripping his wood. And I will leave you all with that. So, as always, thanks for watching. Peace.